Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guests today are the fine folks from Work Vessels for Veterans. And up first in our segment, it is one of the founders and the president, Kathleen Burns, joining us. First time on the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us. We're thrilled to be
Very
here.
exciting. When the guests are excited, I'm excited, and you know it's going to be a good show. Work Vessels for Veterans. Tell us about it.
Well, we are a foundation, private charity, serving returning veterans. We were founded in Noank, right here in town, and we continue to be an all-volunteer organization as we started in 2008, and our main purpose was to fill a need of serving our returning veterans by providing them the tools that they would need to transition from their military to civilian careers.
You know, it's when you think of veterans, you know, there are a lot of organizations, great organizations, helping out. So when this was coming together, how was it decided that there was a need for this and to bring it together?
Well, if you think back to 2008, it was these were when the first group of returning veterans were returning. So the idea of transitioning to civilian life was really just beginning. And we had a wonderful customer by the name of John Neecrash, who was a commercial lobsterman by trade and decided to build and purchase a new lobster boat. And after hearing a wonderful, heart-wrenching story, however, about a veteran returning to the civilian ranks, he decided that he would take his boat and turn that over to a veteran to start a commercial fishing career. And that's where the idea was launched, literally launched.
Yeah.
At the time, we were in the boatyard and marina business, my husband Dan and I, Dan is also on the board, and we said we'll do whatever it takes to make this launch successful. And so from one boat, there it began, and thus our name, Work Vessels for Vets.
And you know, a lot of the other organizations helping out veterans, a lot of them are more like when you first come home, you know, if you're down and out, if you're down on your luck, if you just need help, really with anything, just getting back on your feet. That's one thing. You seem to take it to the next level. This is about really kind of, you know, starting a career, another career, right? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, our young men and women that are returning have extraordinary skill sets. And what we recognized that we wanted to be able to fill the void of providing them the tool. What was it that it was going to take to get them over that hump? Did they need a vehicle to get to and from work? One of our broadest based programs was the simple laptop computer. How many returning veterans needed a laptop computer to return to their education, to enroll in college,
do a resume,
do a resume, to apply for jobs? As you know, everything today is online.
Yeah.
And how many of these men and women returned without that one particular tool? And so while there are so many organizations providing the guidance or providing the schooling, that really wasn't our niche. Our niche was, let's bring people together and see if we can fill that void, find that tool to get them over the hump. And so where it started as a boat that launched quite a few commercial fishing careers, we took that vessel as a means, and what could we do to provide that? So back in 2008 and into 2009, 2010, we were really just filling those requests that came in as mostly at that time vehicles, laptops, etc. But that we recognized then that there was this true entrepreneurial spirit that was really in the heart of so many of the young men and women that we were meeting.
A vessel certainly doesn't mean boat as far as the organization is concerned anymore, right?
No, not at all. We are a means to assist entrepreneurial veterans reach that goal, and we're providing that tool that gets them there.
Now, it started in 2008, correct?
Correct.
Was that right around the time that the economy was really kind of tanking?
Yes,
I'm bringing up the sore subjects here, I know.
No.
But it's just a fact of life.
We've all gone through it,
yeah.
right? We all went through it. And so when you think about how difficult it was for so many of us that were employed at the time, think about the challenges that it faced these returning young men and women
Yeah.
when the job market had really tightened up. So if the unemployment rate back then was in the single high digits, it was over the 20% range for so many of our men and women coming back.
They would come back to nothing. Like, there was nothing available because even people that have been over here the whole time were suddenly let go. And then there was this long stretch of underemployed. Maybe they could get a part-time job here or there. These poor guys coming back, what could they do?
And here's the thing, they have just amazing skills. They understand hierarchy. They know how to work as a team. I mean, they're an extraordinary addition to anyone's team. But if they can't find the job, if they didn't have the means to get there, we saw that as a very valuable spot that our organization, 5, 6 of us were working on, and that we did it in our volunteer time to find that right niche.
That must have been a daunting task for you guys, because it'd be one thing if the economy was at least okay, but at that time, what do you do, you know?
Well, we looked upon it as it wasn't just us. We looked upon it as if we could build our own civilian army, if you will, to capture this idea of paying it forward. So say you had a vehicle that was in very good condition, and rather than trade it in to get something new at the time, let me donate that to us. We would have our friends over at Valenti Auto, for instance, go through, get the vehicle registered, and that we would turn that over. So we had lots of friends that came to our aid, recognizing that they could step up and pay that forward, and then would come to us and say, I have this friend in the construction business, I have this friend in the tooling business, and I can get you tool sets. Do you have vets that need that? There
Yes,
we went.
we do. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And it must be the minute you say veterans to anybody who you kind of are reaching out to see if they can help in some way, as soon as they hear veterans, I would imagine they have to be gung-ho to want to be involved somehow. Right?
Oh, most certainly, most certainly. And I think that the most rewarding part of what we've done on this journey has been the spirit that we have seen in so many of the men and women that we've met along this path.
There are good stories out there, aren't there?
I think one that's really it means so much to us is this young man named Adam Burke from Jacksonville, Florida, and he grew up as a farmer, and he had joined the military, and had just before he was about to return home, had a horrible incident over there, and came back a very damaged young man, both physically and mentally, but he was not broken, and he is one of the strongest individuals that you will meet. And he had this concept that I'm going to take a farm, and I'm going to help my other warriors transition back. And we believed enough in Adam that he was strong enough to do this. And one of our very early projects was to buy 5 acres of land in Jacksonville, Florida, that we put the money into, even though we didn't have it, to see if we could get it started. And he had this dream that he could take blueberry bushes and grow them, and at the same time bring in his fellow warriors and help them grow into themselves after their own military experiences. So 15 acres later, 2 farms later, an extraordinary number of young men and women have gone through his program on these fellowship courses, if you will. Mm-hmm. And they've gone in for 6 to 8 weeks or 6 to 8 months or whatever the course was. But the strength of that young man was that he never took anything from anyone. He made sure that each one of those participants was pulling their own, and they were going to be able to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and they were going to forge ahead in their life ahead, and it's just been an extraordinary road with
He was
Adam.
definitely the right guy for that job, wasn't he?
He was the right guy at the right time. He was just wonderful. And now Adam is going to transition into the next phase and getting into a far more educational role, and it couldn't be a better path for him. So as we look at that, here's a young man that came back saying, what can I do? And what one blueberry bush did for him is launched the rest of his career and that of so many others. He was our true story of paying it forward.
There you go. Now, you had mentioned some guys do come back, people come back troubled. Like, how much PD, post-traumatic stress disorder, do you have to deal with when they're coming back, even at your level of trying to advance somebody into some sort of a career, if you will?
We see it quite frequently.
Yeah.
There's a program that we've become involved in through the university level, through UConn and other universities across the country, and it's this entrepreneurial boot camp for returning veterans. And it's a wonderful program that allows the veteran who has an idea to find the opportunity to let it grow, and that volunteer professors and whatnot are coming in to teach these courses to set these veterans up for businesses. The key part of the program is all of these participants have come back with some sort of disability, and most of it is related to PTSD.
So people watching today are in Rhode Island and Connecticut, but really your sphere of influence is as far out as you can reach. Anybody who needs the help.
That is correct. We have served over 1,000 veterans, reaching into 47 states at this time. We have delivered over 600 laptop computers nationwide. Our latest gift just happened in the last few days, and that was a gift of a major tractor to a returning veteran in Wyoming. So while our home base is here in our homes, that's where we work from, our kitchen tables. There's
not
no
a lot of
boardroom,
volunteers either, right?
No, there's we work pretty thin, so we don't have a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
We have virtually no overhead.
Right.
So, but that's what's so important, because that money needs to be going into finding that tool to get that next veteran started.
How has the organization evolved from when it started? Because it always happens. You know, initially maybe some things will fall through the cracks, but you'll learn from it. How has it evolved and advanced from when you were first starting out?
Oh, we're like a family. We have our good days and bad days. We've had our growing pains.
Yeah.
But our chairman, John Necrash, which was our founding member with the boat donation, Dan, my husband. We have a partner by the name of Ted Knapp, who has come from the IT side of things, who has really
Got to know some
delved
computers,
into
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we have been very very fortunate to have on our board Dave Mason, the old rocker from Traffic Days, who embraced the concept of what we were doing. He and John had a very long friendship, and when he heard of this initiative, he said, what can I do? And so Dave has been touring all over the country and together with Ted, spreading the word. And it's just been a wonderful addition, because he's reached audiences that 5 of us from Noank and Groton Long Point and Groton, Connecticut certainly couldn't reach on that big a scale. So we've been really lucky.
We're going to take a break. I want you to give out the website so people can go and learn more.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're workvesselsforvets.org. And please just log in. Our information is there. And if you know a veteran who's looking for assistance, there's an application form that he or she can fill out, and that will get to us, and we'll see what we can do.
Catherine Burns, one of the founders and presidents of Work Vessels for Veterans. Very happy to have you on the show. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
We'll take a break and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. The fine folks from Work Vessels for Veterans are here in this segment. I have Catherine Cook. She is the executive director, also first time on the show. welcome to the show.
Hi there.
Now, you've hosted a TV show of your own, too, but you were in the host chair for your show. How's it feel to be in the guest chair? Is it
Well,
tougher,
I'll see how you
easier?
do.
All right. So you'll let me know.
That's right.
Well, welcome to the show, Executive Director. We learned a lot about work vessels for veterans. Before we get into a lot of the programs that are going on now, did you want to add to what Kathleen had to say?
Well, I have to tell you, I think this is the most extraordinary charity I've ever known in all of my political years and all of my time in public service. These people are absolutely the most generous folks I've ever known. 5 volunteers out of Little Noank, Connecticut, with Dave Mason traveling around the country spreading the good word. But honestly, think of what these people have accomplished. Since 2008, we have helped now over 1,200 veterans returning from combat in 48 states, because we just added the 8th state this last weekend.
Congratulations. Which state is that? What's the newest
In Wyoming.
state?
The
Oh,
Wyoming
wow.
veteran
You're really
has,
spreading
with
out.
48 different states, with over $1.2 million in value of tools and equipment and vessels to help these veterans get started in a new life. Largely veteran entrepreneurs and many of them going to school to finish their careers.
Now, you were pretty much a career politician. Is that, and why are you insulting me like that?
Ouch.
No, I didn't mean it in a bad
That's
way.
okay.
It's a good thing. But is that advantageous to segue into this? Is that what you did helpful for what you do now?
Well, I was a state senator in Connecticut for many, many years. And then I left, when I retired from the Senate, I then served Governor Jody Rell as her executive assistant for Veterans Affairs. So in all of those years, so over 20 years of public service, most of the work that politicians do is constituent service. We help other people connect with what they need, whether it's connect to state government or to federal government or to Veterans Affairs or veterans programs. That's what we do. We are the conduit to make that happen.
How'd the state do as far as handling veterans issues? Okay, or
Well,
need some
I mean,
work?
Governor
or?
Rell was a real leader during the period of time when things were rough and difficult.
Yeah.
In the 2006, I started with the governor, and we both left office in 2011. But during that period of time, it was when the first influx of veterans coming back from combat came back with great needs. And so during the period of time that I worked with the governor, she was a great leader in connecting those veterans to the mental health services they needed, things that the Department of Defense and the Federal Department of Veterans Affairs weren't geared up yet to do. They weren't talking much to each other across departments. I could give you a lot of stories.
That could be a whole separate show in itself.
But it indeed could. But this program of Work Vessels for Vets is a natural outgrowth for me of the buildup of the Rolodex that I developed during my public service career, and particularly in the last 4 years with the governor, because I had colleagues all across the country that I connected with. So even when it's a veteran who calls upon us for service at Work Vessels for Veterans, but they're not really ready to start a business, or they have other needs that are more important, I can refer them directly to a person who would have been my counterpart in the state of Florida or California or Texas or Illinois or whatever. I just call up the people that I knew or the offices that I knew were available for these veterans, and then they can get this immediate veteran services and benefits that they've earned.
And it's never too early for them to call and inquire. Maybe they're not ready, like you said, but it doesn't hurt to ask questions and kind of get steered in the right direction.
You know, it's the concept for the military benefits for veterans is one door.
Right.
Whatever door you open, somebody's going to be there to get you to the right door you need. Work Vessels for Veterans concentrates on equipping returning veterans to be self-employed. That's really our niche. It is quite an unusual niche, to tell you the truth, because there are a lot of companies and nonprofits and organizations that will work to help a veteran get a job, to help a veteran write a resume, to help a veteran, do the interview. A lot of that is organized quite well.
But there's another level. There's a next level.
But there's very few organizations that really help veteran entrepreneurs. And those organizations primarily help them write their business plan. Right. Well, it's one thing to have a great business plan, but if you need $3,000 for a piece of equipment and you don't have any way of getting that, that's where we fit in. We will match a veteran's need with a corporate or an individual donor and have that donor donate to us as a nonprofit. They get the tax deduction. We make sure that the veteran is ready and has a business plan ready to go. We match the veteran with a mentor from the SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, in whatever state they're in. We vet the veteran, so to speak, and then we get that piece of equipment or tool or whatever it is that they need to get their business started to that veteran.
When we had Kathleen on in the first segment, it was great to learn about the history and the background and the starting out point. Your segment here is going to be more about what programs are offered now, what's going on now. A veteran or a family member watching this show, they could have a lot going on, ideas maybe. What's the first step? What's going on now?
Well, there are three main programs that we offer at Work Vessels for Veterans. One is the Laptops for Veterans program. If you are a veteran going to school and you're finishing your career studies and you need a laptop because you can't get one any other way, go to our website, www.workvesselsforvets.org, and you will find an application for a laptop. Now, we have a running backlog of about 100 laptops at any time, but we also have corporations, when they refresh their laptops in their corporation, they donate them to us. Corporation gets the tax deduction. We have various outlets across the country that scrub them, refresh them. Microsoft gives us the software to get Office on it, the Office suite of
That's important.
So forth, yeah. And then we can ship it out to the veterans. So we don't charge anything for that.
And like we talked about, a laptop is almost a necessity.
Absolutely.
To take it to the next level.
Sure
You need
thing.
it for almost everything.
Absolutely.
You know.
So that's one program, and the latest count is actually more than 600. Kathleen was, going on the statistics, but I've been crunching the numbers as the executive directors do, and it's actually over 800 laptops that we've given out, primarily to the Entrepreneurial Boot Camp for Returning Disabled Veterans. There's one at, it's a school, a business school, free business school for veterans who want to go into self-employment. UConn has one, but there's one at Syracuse University, at Purdue, at Florida State, at Texas A&M, at Louisiana State University, all around, and UCLA has one. So there are 8 or 10 schools all across the country that have these free business entrepreneurial programs for vets. And we try to supply the laptops that a veteran might need going into that program.
And that's just one program,
That's
the laptop.
just one. The laptop is one of our 3 programs. The second program we have, Kathleen described a little bit, as a Veterans Farm. That is a farm in Jacksonville, Florida, that serves veterans with severe PTSD or other combat-related injuries through horticultural therapy. Now, I'm talking about guys who have probably been in and out of jail multiple times because of the ramifications of their PTSD or their traumatic brain injury. Guys that really have had family breakups and really the consequences of being either undiagnosed for the first multiple years, because the Department of Defense didn't do that very well, and now just trying to learn how to cope with it. The horticultural therapy program has been so successful at Veterans Farm that President Obama awarded Adam Burke the Citizens Medal in 2013. That's the second highest civilian honor in the country.
Wow.
For his success in being able to rehabilitate guys with really tough situations of PTSD and help them turn around and then become employed, either self-employed in their own farms, which we then will help them get supplied, or as in the agricultural industry some other way.
Before we run out of time, I want you to mention the third major program.
The third major program is our equipment donations program. And we are very happy to have given our biggest gift ever. So in the history of our organization, a large tractor and 5 implements that go with the tractor and a trailer to a veteran in Wyoming who had served 11 deployments. 11 times he went over there.
That's a whole career and a half right there.
Yeah, he's a Navy CB, demolitions expert. If you saw the movie Hurt Locker, that's what he did.
If you're really good at your job.
And the Navy SEALs kept asking him to go with them on these nasty places that they went in Yemen and Somalia.
Which are still nasty places.
And 7 or 8 times to Iraq and Afghanistan. And Walter Reed Hospital called us. They do from time to time call us. And they say, you got to really help this vet. He really deserves it. And it's taken us quite a bit of time to find the right connection to get him what he needed. But on Saturday morning, he went and picked up his new tractor.
Yes.
And he is just thrilled to pieces.
You know, we talk a lot about veterans who need your help. How about you needing more help? Do you always need more volunteers? Is that something that you're looking for? Do they need to have special abilities? Or?
We need connections more than
Okay.
we need volunteers. We need sort of an advisory group of folks that we can call on and say, you know, I need a tractor out west, or I need, you know, a car in Virginia, or I need a fishing vessel in Florida, or I need, you know, an ATV in Tennessee for a veteran who's got a good business plan. So for us, we've learned that we're never more than 2 degrees away from the resource that we need.
Right.
But you know, we constantly appreciate the referrals that people will give to us that say, I know somebody who knows somebody.
Right.
And that's how we make those matches.
We are out of time. I'm gonna have you give out the website one more time.
Please come to www.workvesselsforvets.org. You will learn all about our wonderful success stories, and the veterans applications are there. And if you'd like to donate, or if you're a corporation that has laptops, please give us a call.
We learned a lot today, and it was great having you on the show today.
Thank you.
Catherine Cook, Executive Director, Work Vessels for Veterans. That is our show for today. You can see this show and many others on our YouTube site. Till next time, I'm Sean Murphy. Take care.